The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I tell you a true story that happened with me. For many years, I lived in the Midwest. I lived in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. And one of the things I did there was I did some Kiruv. And I would go out all over the place. I had neighborhoods that I worked. I had one college specifically that I worked in for many, many years. I would go there. Wasn't bad. Michigan State University, 50,000 students, 5,000 Baruch were Yidden. I had plenty of work to do over there. And it was, if I recall correctly, it was about 61 miles on, right down the road. So it took me an hour and a half to get there. No big deal. Every so often, if I had an opportunity, Michigan is a big state, and there's a lot of colleges all around. And there's Yiddish kids over there also, and they didn't have anybody who was regularly there by them. So every so often, if I got an invitation or I had something, then I would go and I would try to speak over there. In the worst case, I'll meet 5, 10 kids, but you never know what can come out of it. And I was fine, good. There's one college called Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. Yeah, that's the name, Kalamazoo. And the problem is, it's about 4.5, 5 hours from where I lived. So I almost never went out there. I had a Talmud who was there. He was there part-time. And he said to me, if you come, Rabbi, I'm going to get together. I'll get together a bunch of kids, and we'll make an event, and you'll come, you'll speak. Who knows what you'll be able to accomplish? I said, fine, no problem. You get them together, I'll come. That's what I did. And I have to tell you, if ever there was a waste of my time, that day was it. It took me 5 hours to drive there. I only spoke starting at 8 o'clock at night, and I finished the event about 9:30, and I had to drive back 5 hours. That's Verstellen. Now, I wouldn't have minded if the room would have been full of people that I could talk to. The room was about, I don't remember, there were 12, there were 15 people in the room. A few of them, immediately, I chapped, were not even, there was no possibility that they were Yidden. They didn't even claim to be. So that was out. We were down, let's say, to 8 or 9. A few of them started talking to me, and one of them I saw that she's mamash alahachasnik, she's a lakantanik. Reform, she wants no part, she came just to spread her poison. Fine. So she was out. There was one, she was dafka, very, very nice, and her fiancé, her boyfriend, she's engaged to him. He's a very nice boy. It turns out I knew his Zayda. His Zayda was a cantor in a conservative shul. Quite a pretty traditional, but not in Gansin. When I started talking to her, my heart sank, because I chapped right away that she's not a Yid. She thinks she is, but her mother is a convert, so that's the end of that. So now we're down 2 more. So Sach HaKol, I'm talking to about 4 or 5 possibilities, and nothing's happening. They're barely looking, they're busy with their phones, and they're talking, and they're doing it. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying my best, and I have a really good mahalach when I get in front of a room, and I want to get under their skin and get them angry, and get them to start fighting with me and talking, and just get them stirred up and worked up. I am doing my best. It was impossible. It was trying to make it lebedik in a Beis Olam. It wasn't happening. There was nothing. There was nobody. And I'm going through the motions, because that's what you do. When you're a speaker, you get up there. It doesn't matter who's there. You get up, you do your thing, you do your tricks, and whatever the Rebbe Shalom gives, he gives. But I knew walking out that night that I failed. And it wasn't that I failed. It's good. That happens all the time, right? That's not such a big chiddush. That happens. You get used to that. You're a salesman. Sometimes you make a sale. Sometimes you don't. That's okay. But it was the 5 hours, and then the other 5 hours, and then my day the next day that was the target, because there was nothing left. For what? So that I could sit here and talk to a room full of goyim. I wasn't really Mesim Lev. There was one person who I don't know if it was Yid, Nisht, Ken Yid. He was in the corner, Baruch figure, right over there in that corner next to the door, on the floor, his head on his knees, like scrunched up, so that I wouldn't even be able to see who he was. I had no idea what he looked like. And that's how he sat the entire time that I spoke. So he was not part of the solution, he was part of the problem. He was also a no-go. And I didn't say a word to him the whole night. He walked out, said, thank you, Rabbi. And that was the end of that. And I drove home, and I remember at the time, I was talking to my wife on the cell phone, and I said to her, I don't know, I think I got to be more discriminating what I do. I'm killing myself, and there's really no point in this. There's no reason for doing this. This is insane. This is ridiculous. This is not what the Rebbe wants out of me. I could have done better. I could have learned. I had all the reasons in the world. I was not a happy camper. Fascinating thing is, when did this happen? I don't know. What are we talking now? We're 2021. Maybe it happened 2005, maybe 2003, 2005. I don't remember that far back. But that was Be'erach. That was the Tkufa. Okay? Some 15, 20 years ago. And the Peladica thing is that if you drive in a certain frum neighborhood today, a well-known frum neighborhood, you might actually pass this person's house. Which person? The fellow sitting in the corner. You might see his kids. There's a bunch of them. About 5 or 6. I lost track already. I mean, I'm still in touch with them, but I don't keep cheshbon. One of the last times I talked to them, the shaila is which Beis Yaakov they send to. Do they send to the Gur from one, or just to the regular Haredish of Beis Yaakov? They're raising a gorgeous, gorgeous mishpacha. So here I am thinking to myself, I'm talking to the wall. I have nothing accomplished here. What? Who? When? Nothing. I didn't even get one. And it's true. I was 100% right. I didn't even get one. At last count, I think I got 7 or 8, which is not bad for a day's work. Really not so terrible for a day's work. But I wasn't seeing it. When I'm driving home, I wasn't seeing it from the vantage point of 2021, Tafshin Pei Beis. I was seeing it from the vantage point of 2005. 2005, it was an absolute, utter, miserable failure, one of my grandest failures ever. 2022, it might have been one of my most successful events ever. I'm not sure. But judging by the numbers of 2022, I think we're doing good.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org